Okay. Oh yeah. So we are on page number 177. If you have the English, if you're reading in English, it's on 177. So I will just read a few lines from the second chapter, which is how to take refuge. Mm, So here it says, according to the basic vehicle, one takes refuge in the Buddha as teacher, Dharma as the path, Sangha as the companions. So this is not just in the basic vehicle, but it's in universal in all the Buddhist teachings, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Whether you are practicing Vajrayana or not, you take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. That's same for all, not just in the basic vehicle. Um, so here it says the general method for the extraordinary secret mantra vehicle. So this is another name for Vajrayana, is to take refuge by offering body, speech, and mind to the teacher, taking the yidams, uh, the meditational deities as support, and dakinis as companions. Um, so so there's so there's a slightly even though you take Buddha Dhamma Sangha as your refuges, so there is a little bit sort of a different take on it. It doesn't mean that you no longer take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. You still take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha as you would generally do, you would usually do. But additionally, you can also um, take your own, uh, mind, body, and speech by offering them to the teacher. Uh, and then taking to your own teacher, which is your guru. Basically, we are talking about the guru. So think like this: when we say guru, think of as someone in a human form. So when we say Buddha or deities, think of someone in a non-human form, like um, in the form of a I don't know, God is not the right term, but like, a non-human, like a celestial being form. So gurus usually appear because we are human beings. So our gurus always appear to us in a human form because that is the only form that we can conceive. So Uh, so in any case, the guru, by making your mind, body, and speech offering to or by offering your mind, body, and speech to the guru, uh, you take refuge in your guru as the teacher. Unlike in the um, basic vehicle or basic vehicle, or generally you take the Buddha as your teacher. So here your guru as your teacher. But in reality, or um, even though you are taking the guru as your teacher and the Buddha as also sort of a supplementary sort of refuge, this is what you might think with an ordinary mindset, right? You would say, okay, in Tibetan Buddhism, they say Lama la Kyabsucho, Sangya la Kyabsucho, Cho la Kyabsucho, Gindu la Kyabsucho. So there are four. So they say, I take refuge in the Guru, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So that means there are four objects of refuge. Buddhas talk only about three objects of refuge, but in Tibetan tradition, there are adding one more in the Vajrayana, not just Tibetan, but like in Vajrayana practice, they add one more, which is the take refuge in the Guru. So this seems to be additional, and this seems to be, going a little bit swaying away from the Buddha's original teaching, which is to take refuge in the Buddha only. Because Buddha also said that the object of refuge should only be three. So in Tibetan, we say Kyabala Nizi Showa. So there should be no more than three objects of refuge, which is the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. So in one case, the Buddha said there should be no more than three objects for refuge. But in another case, you talk about the four objects of refuge, like the Guru, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. And sometimes you talk about the Guru, Dakini, the deity, meditation, Yidam, and the Dharma guardians and all these things. So sometimes there are five, sometimes there are thousands. So how do you make all these things merge together? So that is the dilemma. Um, so in this case, so the problem persists. The problem will keep existing. The problem will be there as long as you keep thinking about your guru and the Buddha as two different objects or two different things. Uh, so if you think, uh, I gave the example last week about the husband, the father, the son, the uncle, right? So one person can be an uncle, right? One guy, one gentleman can be the uncle, the father, the son, the grandpa, and the brother of so many people. So it doesn't mean that person is many people at the same time. He's just one person, but two different uh, that person is referred to or referred as referred with different name tags, different titles, different tags, um, different designations by different people according to the relation that they have with them. So for the kid, it's the father. For the wife, it's the husband. For the father, it's the son. For the brother, it's for the sibling, it's the brother. For the nephew, it's the uncle, but it's just one person. Similarly, when we say, I take refuge in the Guru, the Buddha, the Dharma, Sangha, or I take refuge in the Guru, the Dakinis, the Buddha, and all that, if you think of all these different uh, individuals, those different names to have a solidifying um, sort of an solidly different individual. So that is a person that is totally different from us, right? So totally different from each other. Like Mary and Jane, for example. So these are two different people. So if you think of them as totally different person, then you have a problem. Then you are contradicting with the Buddha's teaching of taking more than three objects of refuge. But if you are able to see them, if you visualize, if when you envision them as enlightened beings, as actual Buddhas, and especially through the Guru's blessing. Guru's blessing means Guru's guidance. Through the guidance of the Guru, you are able to recognize the Buddha nature within you, yourself, the ability to become the Buddha yourself, to see yourself as the Buddha, and to recognize your own ability to be free from all the clingings of samsara, all the clingings of an unenlightened being, of the desire, hatred, ignorance, etc. Then you will be able to see that all these things are just one. Or one, you might say the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, the Dakinis, the deities, everything are of the same essence or of the same nature. Sometimes we call them the same taste, right? Um, same taste. For one example would be when you make a cup of tea or when you make a cup of coffee, let's say. So you mix different, when you are drinking a cappuccino, you put milk, you put sugar, you put caffeine, coffee, you put water, everything. When you mix them all together, and when you drink, the whole quantity of the coffee, the whole contents of the coffee cup, they taste the same. It has the same taste, even though it has different ingredients, right? Even though it has different ingredients, everything tastes the same. So that is of the same nature, that is of the same essence. Similarly, there's the Buddha, there's the Dharma, there's the Sangha, there's the Dakinis, the deities, the guardians, the Guru, all different in name, but it all tastes the same. Mm. So mm, that is, so when you have that thing, then you will know that you will be able. So in order to practice Vajrayana, um, uh, to the Vajrayana teachings, you need to be. Your mind should be able to sort of conceptualize. Your mind should be able to take these things in. So if these things are something beyond you, if this is something you don't, you feel uncomfortable or you do not feel comfortable with, you feel uncomfortable and you don't feel like you belong in this group, or you feel like this is not really Buddhism, this is not really Buddhism, because Buddha talk about only the three jewel and triple gem, and this is going beyond what the Buddha himself said. So this is like, going too much. Then maybe Vajrayana is not for you. It doesn't mean that you are bad or negative or nothing like that. Different people have Buddha's teaching is called instructions. Instruction means for each malady that you have within us. So for the requirements that we have within us, each person has a different requirement, and according to that requirement, we need to practice accordingly. So there are many people who say, like, these teachings are like according against the Buddha's teaching, and seemingly against the Buddha's teaching, and maybe why would we have all these the dakinis and uh, the fearsome, the ferocious looking, wrathful looking deities who's trampling on other people and killing people, and then the dakas and dakinis are conjoined in union, all that thing. So all these things are like outside of the Buddha's teaching, and this doesn't make any sense. So if you feel uncomfortable, then maybe Vajrayana is not practice, not the right practice for you at the right now. So maybe in later you can do that. And many people say this is not the Buddha's original teaching. So any case, so that is what they say. So in any case, if you are uncomfortable, then Vajrayana is not a practice for you. In that case, you can just take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. Very simple. So you know if you feel uncomfortable in extensive practices, then you can just do very simple practices just to calm your mind and to declutter your mind. But if you feel like your mind is lacking in many things and you will need all these additional things, then you have to add them. So it depends on your requirement. If you are no longer hungry, then you don't have to eat. If you are hungry, then you have no choice but to eat something. So adding or uh, um, um, whether you add more or whether you take out more, it depends entirely on your requirement. So uh, yeah, so basically you can go back to just the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha if that is more comfortable for you. So I will continue to read from here. Having the ultimate and infallible refuge in the indestructible natural state is based on the primal wisdom inherent in the refuge. That wisdom's essential nature is emptiness, its natural expression is clarity, and its compassion is all pervasive. So the very nature. So what we are taking refuge in. Oh, okay. The special sublime method of the Vajra essence is to take refuge in the rapid path whereby one uses the wind channels within ourselves as the Nirmanakaya. The three bodies of the Nirmanakaya or the emanation body, Sambhogakaya or the enjoyment body, and Dharmakaya or the truth body, right? The three bodies, the three enlightened bodies. The three enlightened body basically means three enlightened aggregates or um, um, existence. So by taking refuge, one takes the channels that runs within one's body. So the channel that runs within your body. So channel is basically the nerve center, the neural network. Uh, the nerval network that you have within your cell, your body. So these are taken as the Nirmanakaya or the emanation body of the enlightened emanation body of the Buddhas, and then the energy that runs within the channels of your body as a Sambhogakaya or the enjoyment body, and then they are all purified. All the negativity, all the impurities within us, all the tainted aspect of our beings were purified as the Dharmakaya or the truth body. Um, so that is the method of taking refuge in the Vajrayana essence, and and also that is made possible because of the it is all based on the primal wisdom or the primordial wisdom that is within us, that is lying dormant within us, and that primordial wisdom is empty of inherent existence. Basically, it is the nature of emptiness, and even though it's natural, the very essence of the primordial wisdom is emptiness. So emptiness, you might think there is nothing, it's empty, but at the same time, even though essentially it is emptiness, it does function, or it does express as clarity. So you have um, the primordial, the wisdom, which is empty in its very nature, in its very essence, but at the same time substantially empty, but at the same time functioning with clarity, and functioning with not just with clarity, so but also uh, with compassion. So clarity here refers to the clarity here refers to um, the, the nature of the mind um, that we possess. The mind is inherent in its existence, and by nature it's empty, and it's by nature it's clear. The mind itself is clear. It has the nature of clarity, and it's also has the ability to be compassionate or to love. So and so for that reason, it's compassion. The compassionate ability of the mind is all pervasive, meaning all aspect of the mind has that ability. So taking refuge here means, so here meaning in the Vajrayana, or in this particular practice of uh, the Longchen Yingtik, or the Dzogchen practice, means to realize in the taking refuge here means to realize in one's own mind stream, or mental the stream of consciousness, with total confidence or total faith, the great inseparability of the three aspects of the primal wisdom. Uh, so the three aspect is just as we have I have explained that right now. Naturally empty, essentially empty, naturally clear, and uh, the compassion, all pervasively compassionate. So that is the three nature. So having gained a clear realization of all these, so this is how you take refuge, or how to recognize. So this is more likely taking refuge in the more ultimate sense of way. But normally we take refuge in sort of a we envision the Buddha merit field, or the Buddha field, and then take refuge. And so we will explore how to visualize the merit field or the Buddha field, um, and we talk about that. So I'll continue. So okay. So what we do is, so in your ordinary position, wherever you are sitting, maybe in a prayer room, or your practice room, or in the altar, or at the altar room, or wherever you may be sitting. So visualize that in front of you. Uh, First of all, visualize that. So we are going to page number 179, 78. Sorry, 78. Okay. So I'm reading from the first paragraph of page number 178. So basically, you have to visualize the whole place that you are staying, as not wherever you may be staying. Don't think of that as an ordinary um, place, but think of that as the Buddha field, meaning this field has actually emanated from uh, the compassionate merit of the Buddhas, the enlightened beings, and imagine that whatever maybe bad smell in your room, or maybe not clean, whatever, just uh, purify them with the thought that this is a Buddha field. It is beautiful, it's pleasant, it's made of all sort of precious substance, like gold, silver, whatever. Then the ground that you are walking, or the floor that you have in your house, is made of as smooth, as very smooth, uh, and then without any lumps, or without any irregularities. So basically, very smooth, very pleasant. Just visualize that you are in a very pleasant place, and the middle of that pleasant place, that place is you. In the middle. of that place that you are visualizing is what we call Baksam Gishin, which is a wish fulfilling tree with 5 great branches spreading from its trunk. So a wish fulfilling tree is basically considered to be a tree that whatever you wish, it can grant the wish for you. If you want money, it can get you that. If you want food, it can get you that. If you want clothes, it can get you that. So the wish fulfilling tree, on that wish fulfilling tree, there are the 5 great branches spreading from its trunk, and it has the perfect leaves and the flowers and the fruits stretching so far to the east, to the west, to the north, and so basically a very beautiful tree. Um, so on the central branch of the tree, there is a jeweled throne that has been lifted by 8 lions, 8 great lions. So 8 great the lions actually represent ego, and so there are actually 8 types of ego. Uh, so the 8 types of ego are being represented by the 8 lions, and those 8 lions are carrying the throne, which carries the guru, which means the guru is stamping on those 8 types of egos. So seated upon the throne on a seat consisting of a multicolored lotus flower, there is a sun which represents wisdom. There is a moon which represents compassion, and on top of that sun and moon disk or sun moon seat, uh, there is your glorious root teacher. So your teacher, your root teacher is there, incomparable source of compassion, embodiment of all the past, present, and future Buddhas, of a compelling white color with a rosy gleam. He has 1 face, 2 arms, and 2 legs. So here we are doing the Longjing practice, and so the guru. So what we visualize is that essentially this is none other than your own guru, but in this particular lineage or practice, we visualize the guru in the form of basically uh, um, uh, uh, Padmasambhava. So, and the future Buddhas appearing in the form of the great Vajradhara of Odhyana. So, great Vajradhara of Odhyana is none other than Padmasambhava. So, his body is of a compelling white color, with a rosy gleam. He has 1 face, 2 arms, and 2 legs, and is seated in the royal posture. In his right hand, he holds a golden 5-pronged vajra with a threatening gesture. In his left hand, which rests in the gesture of meditation, he holds a skull cup containing a vase filled with ambrosia of deathless wisdom. The lid of the vase is topped by a wish-fulfilling tree. He wears a brocade cloak, monastic robes, and a long-sleeved blue tunic, and on his head, the lotus hat. Seated in union with him is his consort, the white Dakini, H.E.Tongkhor, holding a hooked knife and a skull cup. So I have shared the picture and also the links to the website, so you can take a look and maybe we will have get a bit better picture out of it. So basically, the main thing is at the center there is the guru. Okay, your guru, but is in the form of your guru, not in his ordinary form. Like normally you would see the guru in different forms, but this time you see the guru in the form of Padmasambhava, and with the consort H.E.Tongkhor. And so basically that is at the center of the central branch. And so like this, the you visualize the merit field. On the merit field, or even though we call it merit field, it's sometimes we call it it's better to call it the lineage tree, or the Buddha field. So basically different names, but it's basically the same thing. So the merit field, or uh, the lineage tree, on the central branch, you have the guru in the form of Padmasambhava, right? And the guru, so all the object of refuge are looking down towards you. So you are looking upwards toward them. So the tree, the branch of the tree usually is, because it's a tree with a trunk and a branch. So the branch would be a little bit higher, elevated from your space. So they're higher up there. So normally similar to what you would imagine in a temple where you go, when you go to a temple, you will see the Buddhas and the other objects of refuge elevated on a stage. So similar. Now, facing towards you, you will see all the different gurus and the dakas and dakinis. So maybe I will just read them because visualize him like this in the space before you, facing toward you. Above his head are all the lamas of the lineage, seated above one another, not quite touching the one below. The teachers of the great general Tantra transmissions are innumerable, but here we visualize particularly the main figures of the heart essence lineage of the lineage of the great perfection, which is the Samantabhadra, the Dharmakaya, Vajrasattva, the Sambhogakaya. So Samantabhadra, normally in the Sutrayana, Samantabhadra is a Bodhisattva, but in the Tantrayana, Samantabhadra is a Buddha, and Samantabhadra is the Dharmakaya or the truth body of the Buddha. Vajrasattva is the Sambhogakaya or the enjoyment body, and Garabdolce is the Nirmanakaya or the Tulku or the emanation body. Then the master Manjushri Mata, Guru Shri Simha, the learned Janasasura, the great Pandita Vimala Mitra, Padmasambhava of Odiyana, and three closest disciples of the king, subject, and consort, the Dharma king Chisong Delzen. So these are the lineage masters. I think if you have the book, maybe just read it by yourself because that will take a very long time. So visualize uh, on top of the guru. So if you have the picture, I think I shared the picture there. On top of the guru, these are the lineage gurus are there, and in front of the guru, front of the guru meaning the front branch of the tree, because on the center of the tree you have the guru. So in the front branch of the tree you have the Buddha, Buddha Shakyamuni. Buddha, when we say Buddha, we are referring to Buddha Shakyamuni, surrounded by different Buddhas and different Buddhas of this kalpa or this time, this era. On the right hand or of right hand branch, on the right branch, there is eight bodhisattvas, eight close sons or the eight bodhisattvas, headed by the bodhisattvas such as Manjushri, Vajrapani, and Avalokiteshvara, and so on and so on. And on the left hand, there is um, the so we have the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, and the Shavakas, or the hearers. Basically, during Buddha's time, there are the Buddha himself, and then there are those who practice, even though they are um, in essence they are already Buddha, but they appear in the form of bodhisattvas, and then they start teaching. But they may not be that well revered or that well heard of, that very popular, basically. But the more popular of the Buddhist students were such as the Shariputra, Moggallaya, all the Shavakas are the popular face of Buddha's disciples. So so those so on the right hand you have the bodhisattvas, on the left hand you have the shavakas, basically headed by Shariputra, Moggallaya, and all these. And on the rear branch or the back of the back side of the branch, you have all the Dharma books. The Dharma is not a book, but the essence of Dharma is written down or contained in a book. So the books, the Dharma, all the teachings of the Buddha are in the form of books or scriptures and texts on the backside, on the backside, on the rear side of the tree. So that's how you visualize. And between all the branches, all the five branches, the central branch and the the branches on the four cardinal directions. Between all the branches, there are the Dharma protectors, both the wisdom protectors and the protectors. Wisdom protector meaning protectors which are actually not, which have attained arhat, or sorry, not arhat. Which have attained this sublime state. Basically, no longer worldly protectors. And then So basically, Dharma protectors, which are wisdom protector, meaning Dharma protector, which are none other than the emanation of enlightened beings, and then the ordinary Dharma protectors, which are constrained by the effect of their own past effects, past actions. So the male protectors all face outwards. Their activity is to prevent outer obstacles from coming in, and then the female protectors all facing inwards. Their activity is to keep inner accomplishment, basically our practices, uh, the um, um, our our accomplishment, our practical accomplishments from leaking out. Uh, so thinking of all these figures of refuge with their immeasurable qualities of knowledge, love, and power, leading you as your only great guide. Imagine uh, that is the uh, that is the merit field that you should be imagining or visualizing. Uh, so this is the refuge field, merit field. So if you want to know more, you just read the book, and then it's more like the list of the names of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So as I explained, so I just summarized the whole thing. Now, this is for the merit field or the Buddha field that is facing towards you. Now, from your side, so you are like the they you are the one who's making the plea. You are making the request. You are asking. You are the one who's praying. So they are the the merit field or the object of refuge, and you are the one who is seeking refuge. So from your side, you'll be sitting in facing towards the merit field, right? So from your side, you are sitting. Imagine that you are sitting in the center, and on your right you have your father, and on your left you have your mother. uh, so mother or all the motherly figures, uh, figurines, father and all the fatherly figures like uncle, brother, etc. Mother and aunt, sister, etc. So all the females headed by mother, all the males headed by father. So father on the right, mother on the left, and on your in front of you, you have this great amount of sentient beings, all the sentient beings that you may be aware of, not aware, but especially headed. So you see, you have all the sentient beings, um, other than your mother and your father. They are related to you. Then you have in front of you everybody else who's not related to you, who's like a complete stranger, or basically not related to you. That is a huge number of people, and all those people. So there will be many rows, right? Many rows, uh, like so. In the very front row, you have your the people who you detest the most, people who try to harm you, people who try to do basically what we tag as your enemies, people who you don't dislike. So all the people who you dislike are at the very front row, facing towards the merit field, and the reason, and then all of you together are expressing refuge, are seeking refuge from the Buddha Dharma, from the refuge from the merit field, and you will be doing prostration or just doing holding your hand like this, and then you will express your thoughts. You will express the refuge prayer and the refuge prayer, and then you will cultivate merit all together with your father and male figures, your mother and all the female figures, and everybody else headed by your enemies. You all in sort of a one tone, you know. Uh, you all have the same sort of tone, incantation. You recite the the refuge prayer. Uh, so the prayer is like this. So the prayer that you recite in front, you, your father, your mother, your enemies, all together pray towards the refuge The merit field or the refuge tree is this, okay? I will recite it from the book. It's very good. O teacher and the three jewels, whatever happens to me, favorable or not favorable, pleasant or painful, good or bad, whatever sicknesses and sufferings befall me, I have no other refuge nor protection than you. You are my only protector, my only guide, my only shelter, and my only hope. From now on, until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, Buddhahood, I place all my trust and faith in you. I shall neither seek my father's counsel, nor ask my mother's advice, nor decide on my own. It is you, my teacher and the two jewels, that I take as my support. Uh, it is to you that I make my offerings. It is to you that I pledge myself, to you alone. I have no other refuge, no other hope than you. With this burning conviction, very strong conviction, recite the following text as well, which it goes in the Sugatas of the three roots. Sugata means Buddha, the one who went into joyfulness. That is what the meaning of Sugata is. It's another term for Buddha. In the Sugatas of the three roots, the true three jewels. In the Bodhicitta, nature of the channels, energies, and essences. And in the mandala of essential nature, natural expression and compassion, I take refuge until I reach the heart of enlightenment. So the Sugatas, the Buddhas are the hmm? So this as many times as possible in each session until you say it at least 100,000 times. So this is for talking about in the preliminary like Gondro practice. So you have to do it 100,000 times. At the bare minimum, you have to do it 100,000. So that's what it's referring to. Be sure to practice it in distinct sessions and make it your constant and most important practices. So it also adds that why would you have your enemies at the front row while you have your parents on your side? So the reason behind that is because your enemies, so from a practical, from a worldly point of view, from a worldly perspective, your parents are the most important person in your life. But from a spiritual point of view, your enemies are the most important person in your life, people who make you angry because they were able to teach you how to be patient. So without your enemies, when everybody is being nice to you, being listening to what you want to hear and say, do what you want them to do, then you can never develop patience. And with your enemies or the people that you detest, people that you dislike, you will be able to develop patience. And so for those people, so these are the most important people in your life spiritually. And so for that reason, those people whom you dislike, whom you hate, are put in the frontal row when you do the practice, when you do the prayer. And through their kindness, we are able to generate the practice of patience. And patience is a very, very important practice, very important in the when you practice the Dharma, because the Dharma practice is not a short-term practice, it's a long-term practice. It's an investment for not just one lifetime, but for many lifetimes. And so also it says that your parents give you birth for this lifetime only. Your enemies not will, for a practitioner, right? For a practitioner. If you're not a practitioner, your enemies will actually drive you mad, and then you will develop negativities and then maybe harm them and accumulate negative karma, and then be, uh, fall into the lower realms. But for a practitioner, your enemies will teach you how to develop patience, and through patience, you will have a better rebirth, better wisdom, and all develop your mental uh, attitude in your forthcoming lives. So therefore, your enemies are very kind and important. So therefore, your enemies share the front row, whereas you share the back rows with your family. Now there's a beautiful line by. So this is talking. We are talking about the obstacles and the enemies or things that we detest and we dislike. All the uncomfortable situations. So there is a line from Omniscient Longchenpa. So I will. So we will go through this. So he said. So we are talking about the importance or the important roles that when we don't get the things that we want, then it is, how fortunate we are that we are not able to get what we want. From a spiritual point of view, when we don't get the things that we want in our worldly life, it actually pushes us to practice better, practice more. So it goes like this. Assailed by afflictions, we discover Dharma and find the way to liberation. Thank you, evil forces. And find when the sorrows invade the mind, we discover Dharma and find lasting happiness. Thank you, sorrows. Through harm caused by spirit, we discover Dharma and find fearlessness. Thank you, ghosts and demons. Through people's hate, we discover Dharma and find benefits and happiness. Thank you, those who hate us. So instead, you can say, thank you, those who hate me. It will become more personal. Through cruel adversity, we discover Dharma and find the unchanging way. Thank you, adversity. Through being impelled to by others, we discover Dharma and find the essential meaning. Thank you, all who drive us on. We dedicate our merit to you, all to pay your kindness. So when we say enemies, we don't have to like think of an actual enemy out there. Like many of us don't really have an enemy. Like we are being very nice people, and nobody kind of like there are not many people who harm us deliberately. But we all face adversity, struggles, right, in our life. Whether it's health issues, whether it's a relationship issue, whether it's job security, different things. So all these adversities can be uh, envisioned as an enemy or as something that you dislike or you want to uh, you know uh, abandon or to detach from. So when we practice on enemies, it doesn't have to be an actual enemy person out there who has a name and all that. So that is how visualize. So after this, you when it so this is you recite the refuge prayer and you recite you reflect on the qualities of your enemies. Okay, so when I say enemy, you know what I mean. So the your when you all the after you finish you complete, then visualize because of your strong devotion, strong conviction, uh, very strong conviction that actually activates, enables powerful rays of light to emit, to come from the refuge field, from the different Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, the Dakas, Dakinis, the teachers. It comes in the powerful light comes from the side of the merit field, the refuge tree towards you who is seeking the refuge. Okay, so powerful light shines onto you and your the male side, the female side, the enemy side, everything. And when the light touches you, then just like when there's like 100 like lots of birds on a tree, and when you throw one stone at the tree, all the birds scatter, flying. Similarly, when the lights touch on you and your the people around you, uh, then when the moment the light touches, all of you fly. You fly up with a very sound and dissolve into the assembly of deities. So you, your father, your mother, the males, the females, everybody dissolve into the merit field. And the deities, the deities of the merit field, the deities here, when we say deities, we are talking about all the individuals that are on the refuge field are referred to as the deities, and you dissolve. All of us dissolve into the refuge, or into the refuge object of refuge, which are the deities, and the deities themselves also melt into light, and from the outside towards inside, meaning from the edges to the center, the deities also dissolve into the teacher at the center, which is Guru Padmasambhava, your own teacher in the form of Guru Padmasambhava. So you dissolve into that. And the deities that are above the guru, so these are the actual deities like Yamantaka, Jagasambhara, like that, who are on above the guru, uh, also dissolve into the guru. Okay, so all the other individuals dissolve into the guru from the edges to the center, and the deities that are on the top of the guru also dissolve into the deity. Then the teacher himself, the guru himself, dissolves and vanishes into pure light. So when the teacher dissolves, when the teacher sort of like disappears, so there is that sort of like uh, um, there would be a, there would be a visual silence, right? There would be not just an audio silence, but like a visually, there would be visual silence would be there. So that will assimilate the, that actually assimilates the experience of uh, realizing emptiness. So for that reason, when the teacher disappears into the light, rest in that visual silence as long as you can. So rest for as long as you can in this primordial state of free from all the elaboration, from all the distraction, from all the additional things, the Dharmakaya, which is the truth body. So rest in that. And as you rise from your meditation, so after some time you'll finish. So, after taking the refuge practice, engage in this practice of emptiness, engaging in practicing, engaging in the practice of emptiness meditation for as long as you can. And then when you come out of the meditation, then you recite the line, the one line, it's the dedication line we always do at the end of the session. Through the merit of this practice, may I swiftly accomplish the three jewels, and I establish every single being without exception on their level. Yeah. So remember to keep the merit field. Constantly keep the merit field in your mind in all situations. So right now we talk about during the refuge practice, right? So even when you are out of the refuge practice, when you are not engaging in the serious refuge practice, when you are doing everyday ordinary things, you should visualize the refuge field, the merit field. So when you walk, visualize them in the space above your right shoulder. So wherever you go, it's like you are taking circumambulation of the merit field. So the merit field is here. So the merit field is here. So when you go around like this, you're actually going around the merit field. So you're actually doing a kora. You are actually doing a circumambulation of your merit field. The Buddhas, the Dakinis, everything. So it's on your shoulder. So when you go like this, you're actually doing kora. So that's when you walk, visualize them around on the above your right shoulder. And when you sit, visualize them on your head, on top of your head, so that it actually vanquishes um, your ego, as well as gives you support, like something for you to rest on. Then when you eat, visualize the merit field on your throat, so that when you are consuming food, then you can imagine that you are making offerings to the Buddha field. So whatever you are eating, it never goes into waste. Meaning, especially for like monks, when they're eating things that procured through offerings, people eat what they offer to them. So they get bad karma if they don't pray and all that. So when you visualize them around the throat, then the food is made into actual they made into an offering and it's not gone into waste. So even if you're not a monk, if you eat the food, visualizing the merit field at your throat, you accumulate a lot of merit by making offering to the Buddha field here. So, and also when you sleep, visualize that the Buddha field is at your heart center, meaning at chest, your chest. And this practice, so when you do that, when you sleep, so that, at the time of your sleep, all your the wind channels. Anyway, so basically, if you visualize that by your heart, it will actually help you to in your practice of in your practice in your practice to get the clear light. So whatever you're doing, never separate from a clear mental image of the refuge deities, entrust yourself with total confidence of the three jewels and devote yourself entirely into taking refuge into the merit field. So this concludes today's teaching of how to take refuge. Okay. So do you have questions? No questions, I guess.
No questions today.
Yeah, I think we took too much of time. Anyway, so all right. Okay, so I will conclude here, and now we will do the dedication. Thank you, everyone. Yewan chanju semjo jembo chema ye ba namangi yoro. Yewan nyamba me bara yang kone kondo pe wara sho. Yewan di nyordo ta lama sangye chogyuran. Jowa chi jang ma le ba ge sala. Ge bara sho. Oh yeah, me.